Okay, we're live. We have two young ladies here. Notice I said young. I got it in there. So today, besides my co-host Sarah, we have Debbie Gelber. Correct? Did I get that right?
That is absolutely correct.
Okay. Debbie and Sarah have a couple things in common. They both have their doctorate in music. They play different instruments. Matter of fact, we're going to jam out at the at the end of this. Not really, but we could. Did you bring your flute, Sarah? Did you bring the flute?
I was looking around. I don't see a flute close by. Normally I have a flute handy, but I don't have one right
Oh,
now.
Do you have your
Airplane.
shoot!
spoons? Do you have
But
your
the,
spoons, Craig?
the spoons. Well, what's those things at Morocco? The hand things. What are they called?
The
Those.
castanets
Anyway,
or the
I'll get.
maracas?
Yes.
That's it. I get off in the weeds sometimes. But anyway, we're talking about training. Debbie, you're doing mostly marathons. You're in Texas, Lubbock, Texas, right?
That's correct. West Texas, Lubbock, Texas. Been here
Okay.
since 1999.
You okay? You're originally from Pennsylvania, correct? Butler,
Pittsburgh. Yep. Just
Pittsburgh.
above Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's cold
Go
out there. I'm
Steelers.
originally from north of Philadelphia. But we're talking about training, and I invited Debbie to come on to talk about what she does because when I look at training and everything, there's online training, there's training with partners. The big thing right now is doing online instruction, online fitness. And I don't know if that really works for everybody. I mean, for me to train on a bike and everything, I go out by myself. I like going out with friends. But I wanted to see your journey in terms of running a marathon. I think you started when you were 40.
My first marathon was when I was 40. Yes. Back in 2010. It was 10. That's why I remember.
And what did you, I mean, it was a first. Did you do anything special? I mean, did you have to work up to it?
I did. I was never a runner. I was of course, a music nerd, and I sat around. But then, when I turned 40, I did my very first 5K ever. And then a little bit later, I decided I was going to do a half. And then after that, I said, okay, I want to do a full. And so that's what I did. I knew nothing. I didn't have anybody to really ask because I didn't know a lot of runners. I knew musicians and artists and people like that. So I got a book called Marathoning for Mortals, or Marathoners for Mortals, by John Bingham, and enjoyed that book so much. But there were training programs in the back, and so I just took the beginner marathon training program and followed it and ran my first marathon about 6 months later. Knew nothing about fueling. Knew, I mean, I was just very ignorant when it came to anything having to do with running.
Have you have you added on with your experience as you got into it? Did you change anything, or
Oh my
did you
gosh,
add
yes.
to it that benefit?
Yes. One of the best things that happened to me, I've had a lot of great things happen to me in this journey, but one of the best things that happened to me was my husband, who is a theater guy, so we're very artistic. Um, he got me for our iron anniversary. He got me a gym membership with a trainer. He got me a personal trainer. And so we're pumping iron, get it?
Mhm.
And and I would train with this personal trainer once or twice a week, and just started loving lifting weights and started doing that. And then I read more and I learned more and I learned about how to fuel. And then eventually, after a couple of years, I got an online running coach, and it just has progressed from there.
Well, Sarah, I don't think you basically what Sarah I know from Sarah is that you run a lot on the weekends. Like you have almost a race every weekend. I mean, if you could tell us your journey as far as how you train. You don't have an online trainer. I mean, Debbie is nice to have the online trainer, but or in-person trainer. But you do it where you do a lot of virtual. Maybe you could talk a
Mhm.
little bit about that.
Sure. And I do have an actual running coach, a face-to-face coach. I work with Stephanie Pizzola, and she is an Olympic caliber athlete. I've been working with her for about 6 years. I have a very similar journey. I did not start running at all. The extent of my running was laps in high school marching band, but I started running when I was 37 years old. My husband was diagnosed with a very rare and incurable disease then, had to have bilateral hip replacement when he was 37, had a heart attack. He was using a walker, and I was sitting in the recliner doing absolutely nothing. And so I bought a pair of shoes from Walmart. I ran to the mailbox. I was completely winded. And then a little further. And then I decided I'm going to do 100 half marathons in all 50 states. And so I hit number 50 a couple of weeks back in half marathons, and then also 100 triathlons. So my training plan I did an Ironman Augusta this past fall. And like you, I purchased a book just to supplement the training. I purchased Matt Fitzgerald's book. It was a Ironman training plan. Great program. You can choose the level that you want, beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And within each one, there's different levels as well. So I supplemented that. My coach is primarily a running coach. And since I do a lot of triathlons, just to supplement her running coaching, I did the biking portion, the swim portion, using the book. And that worked out very well. I do a lot of online challenges, like these distance challenges, 1,000-mile challenges for a year. And as part of that, I just started using Training Peaks. And so that's kind of an interesting experience. A lot of people swear by Training Peaks. I've never used that before. And so I'm trying to incorporate that in as well. I'm training for my second marathon. I do mainly half marathons. My first marathon was the Dopey Challenge.
Fun. Yep.
48.6 miles. But then on my 50th birthday, I got into the lottery for Big Sur Marathon. And so on my 50th birthday, Big Sur Marathons. And
Wait. Hold it. You're 50? You didn't tell me. When was the birthday?
April 24th. I've got a while. April the 24th. So I'm still in the 45 to 49 bracket right now. But
you're just a baby.
Oh, yeah. So that'll be my fit. And then I'm doing the Chicago Marathon this year as well.
Okay, Sarah, let me stop you there. Okay, we have a chance to meet face to face because I'll be at Big Sur as well.
Wonderful. Yay.
This will be I'll be at Big Sur. This will be my second time running the Boston to Big Sur challenge. And so I am so excited that I'll get to meet you there.
Wonderful.
We definitely have to connect.
I'll be chasing the time cutoffs. My main goal is to finish under the time. And so that's what I'm trying to focus on. Just trying to build endurance. You mentioned weightlifting, and I have not done that adequately because I do run 4 days a week. I bike 1 or 2, and then I either row or elliptical. And then when the weather warms up, swimming. So it's hard to find time, but I know that that's what's missing in my training.
Sure.
Okay.
That's funny that you have an.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
You have an in-person running coach, and I had an in-person personal trainer. I have an online running coach. So we're just the opposite. I have a wonderful running coach through Run for PRs. Her name is Mary Thomas, and I've been working with her for a couple years now. And she's just been so good to me and has really reined me back from all the racing that I used to do and taking priorities now. And that's been so good for me.
And that's what I'm seeing as well. I used to, as Craig mentioned, do a race every weekend pre-COVID. And then when 2020 hit, everything, of course, shut down. I moved into virtual distance challenges. But then with this marathon training, my coach is saying, you've got to run 15 miles this weekend. You can't just do a local 5K. And so I'm trying to do maybe one race a month, one half marathon a month, and then the 2 big marathons coming up.
It makes such a difference.
It does.
I have a secret. Sarah's one of Sarah's secrets, and she has an advantage because I'm a race director. I'll have a race and she'll text me, how many are in my age group? So I'm thinking, all right. Wait. I'm a smart butt, so I was going to send back 97. I figured you would have a heart attack,
Yes.
but uh, but no, usually there's not a whole. Well, in your age group, and even I guess with you, Debbie, there's quite a few
There's a lot.
runners in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many 50-year-olds and later 40-year-olds there
I
are
did
that are running.
BDR Safety Harbor, the 4-race challenge or 3-race challenge this weekend. So all this bling from this weekend.
Nice.
And there were over 100 in my age group, 45
Mhm.
to 49, over 100.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's
there's
great.
a lot.
I love it. I love it.
Well, during that age group, there must have been. There's a lot also in the 60. I got a few in the 70 age group. But
Yeah.
matter of fact, I had one guy that was 70 running a marathon, and
Amazing.
he's done three or four of my races, and he's gung ho. But it's interesting the age groups. I don't get a lot in the 20s. I mean, and
No.
Exactly.
Run Sign Up.
Mm-hmm.
Run Sign Up put stats out that less people are signing up that are in their 20s, the millennials.
Mhm.
So I don't know why,
Mhm.
but what Debbie, do you use any type of hydration or goo or because
Yes. Yes. After that first marathon where I didn't know anything, I started using, a few years later, I started using UCAN,
Mhm.
Generation UCAN. I use their powder. Um, before the race, about an hour or two before the race. I also use the Goo Roctane. Goo Roctane has caffeine in it, so I do like that one better than the regular Goo. And I use Hammer and Duralite capsules sometimes, and the electrolyte tablets that I'll stick in my water bottle as well. So I use lots of stuff.
Mhm.
Lots of stuff, and of course, Honey Stinger. I'm
Yeah.
always using Honey Stinger chews and things. I'm an
Mhm.
ambassador for Honey Stinger, so I just love to promote their products because they're great.
okay, one do you know a Gary Rupert, Debbie?
Oh my gosh, yes, I do. He was my high school band
He's
director.
he
Oh.
Hi,
he did you
Mr. Rupert.
can you see the comment? Debbie is a former student and my running idol. That's what he just
Oh.
said.
I mean,
Can you
yes, I
see the
see them
comment?
now. Yay! It's great to hear from you, Mr. Rupert.
Oh.
So I got the comment. Matter of fact, I forgot about it. I went up and
Yay!
looked and got the comment there. So that's pretty
Awesome.
neat. He's. I wonder how he found out that we were going to have this. I don't know.
I stuck it on my
Interesting.
Facebook page.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, great. So hello, my friend. I mean, he's
He's an
blowing up the
awesome
Facebook here.
he's an awesome runner, and he's an awesome retired teacher who is barely retired because he does so many other wonderful things. So he was
Well, that's
my
good.
idol, and that's why I went into music. So
Exactly.
really.
It was a middle school band director in the neighboring county was my inspiration. Her name was Paula Moss, and she taught me privately. I was very introverted. I would not speak at all to people, and she taught me flute lessons, and she has
Aw,
remained my inspiration. So shout out to all of the band directors. You have no idea what difference you make in the lives of people. It's just an important
absolutely.
influence. Music changes
Absolutely.
everything.
It does.
It does.
It absolutely does. Yay.
Back before I'm older than you guys, so I have a short term memory loss, so I have to jump in real quick. So that's not funny, Sarah. Anyway, so basically what I wanted, Sarah and I have been talking about what to have for hydration and so forth. And we
Mhm.
went over the goo, and there's a couple other ones, Slayer RX, and then there's the hammer and so forth.
Mhm.
And it's really difficult to have something out there that everybody likes. Have you had? I'm going to ask Debbie because Sarah and I have talked about. Have you
Mhm.
gone any marathons where? How do they distribute and get the hydration? Do they have it at every rest stop, or what do you see?
Yes, at every water stop, they usually have Gatorade or Powerade or whatever. And then later on in the later miles, 18, 22, whatever, they have the goos or the Morton gels or whatever the gels are, or the Cliff Blocks. And what I have found is really good is to put it on your website what you are using, because then your runners can practice with it. And Berlin and Boston this past year have been using Morton gels. And Morton gels, not everybody trains with those, and not everybody is familiar with those. They're a little pricey. They're great. I mean, I've used them, but it was great that they advertised weeks and weeks and weeks in advance that this would be the fuel on the course, so that people could order it and practice with it. And they even made a deal with the Morton people that you can buy a Morton package, training package from them, with a Boston Marathon discount or with a Berlin Marathon discount. And that way, it's cheaper, and you get a nice little discount. So you might want to think about that whenever you're putting your stuff on your course. Maybe make some kind of deal with whoever you're using, and give your participants some perks.
Yeah, the
What,
mantra is don't try
Sarah? I forget.
anything. The mantra is don't try anything new on race day.
Mm-hmm,
And that definitely goes for hydration and nutrition. So if
mm-hmm,
you're using a certain product, like if you're using a Slayer product that has a fizz to it, you want to
mm-hmm,
make sure that it's advertised. If you're using heat, if you're using tailwind,
mm-hmm.
goo is pretty universal. At BDR,
Right.
they have goo at each station. But
Mm-hmm.
for the drink portion, if someone does not agree with that, their stomach does not agree with that, they'll probably bring their own hydration. But just let them know ahead of time what you're going to be using.
Exactly.
I'm gonna use apple cider vinegar and say that your belly will be reduced by the time you get to the end of the marathon.
Or pickle juice.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I do like the
Anyway,
pickle
you
juice.
Yeah.
oh that was we talked about that, the pickle
Last week.
juice. I'm gonna
Yes, the
try that.
last live that you had. Uh-huh. Yeah. That,
Yeah,
I
on the
had
pickle
never
juice.
used pickle juice before in my life until my first 50K. And going around the same loop, how many times? I think we went around 7 or 8 times. I found myself not wanting anything sweet, not wanting any Gatorade or goo or anything like that, but I grabbed a pickle juice, and that just did the trick and got me through it. And so every time I stopped at the aid station, that's what I would grab. And then for my 50 miler, same thing. I even packed my own pickle juice in my gear bag just to make sure that I had pickle juice on the course. And it sometimes you just want it.
Hmm.
Well, a lot of cyclists use. That's where I was
Hmm.
introduced from it when I did the cycling tour de cure. It's well, this is a ways back, but from cramping, Gatorade does not stop me from cramping up. It doesn't work. So, you know, I've tried the pickle juice, but a lot of cyclists like it, and they don't cramp up. So I'm gonna try it at the next race and put some out, see if they like it. And I always like, you guys are in education, and I'm a retired teacher, so you always try test things, see if it works. If it doesn't,
Hmm.
you get rid of it. So that
That's
kind of
right.
thing. Um, but what? Say, okay, Debbie, when's your next race?
My next race, is that what you said? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry, you got a little lag in there.
sorry.
My next race will be Boston on April 17th or 18th. I don't remember, whatever that Monday is. And then 6 days later, I'll meet Sarah at Big Sur and run that marathon.
Oh,
And yeah, and then I have another marathon in July, and that's my A goal race, that my coach and I have talked about, and that is in Washington State. That is the Jack and Jill
Mhm.
Washington marathon, and so that's my PR attempt. I had a PR attempt at the half last month, And at age 53 and being about my 34th or 5th marathon, I PR'd. So
Wonderful.
I was really happy.
Wow, great.
Hmm.
Well, we had a couple of people that qualified on at my Boston qualifier in Spring Hill, and they went to Boston, and when the 1 year, it pulled like a son of a gun. I think it
Oh,
was like
yeah.
4 years ago, something like
I
that.
think it was
Oh my word! I think
18,
it was cold.
2018. Hmm.
Yeah, that might have been. Yes.
Hmm.
I mean,
I
I'm
was there
looking
in
at the pictures.
17.
I'm like,
Yes.
oh, great.
Yeah. 17 was
All
the
right.
the
Well,
hot
that's
year.
great.
It was rather hot, but 18, I'm glad I didn't go.
Mhm.
Yeah, poured like this. Now, Sarah needs to tell us about her experience. That what was that one? The Hatfield and McCoys and
Mhm.
Oh, that's
Mimosa
on my
Tree.
bucket list.
Yes.
Yes, I want to do that race. Go.
Yes. So Hatfield McCoy, it was a rainy night the night
Go
before.
ahead.
And you choose either course. You can choose the River Road course, or I forget the name of the other one, but I chose the River Road course. And a lot of it was trails. And because it had rained the night before, it flooded out.
Oh
And so there
no.
was a lot of very deep mud. And I told Craig at one point I was pulling myself up by a mimosa tree, trying to hoist myself up. But it was
Oh
absolutely
my.
beautiful. And
Hmm.
then just the scenery along the way and the support of people, because there were a lot of four-wheelers out there. They stopped for us, they just cheered us on, and people really came together. So that was a really great race up in West Virginia.
That's my alma mater is West Virginia University.
Nice,
And
nice.
so, yeah, I'm working on the 50 states
Oh, well,
for the marathons,
Yep.
and I'm torn between whether I want to do Morgantown with all the hills or Hatfields and McCoys.
Yeah.
I'll probably just do them both.
Yes. Yes. If in doubt, do them both.
well,
That's right.
the 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 medal from the Hatfields and McCoys was a like I listen to Sarah. I get all my ideas from a couple other women, but it had the spinner in it. Am
Yeah.
I correct
Hmm.
on that one, Sarah?
That's
Yes.
a common thing
I did the one
nowadays.
with
Yeah.
Mhm.
we made. Well, I made Florida, the state of Florida, in the middle, and the spinner in the middle, and everybody loved it.
Mm.
So I asked Sarah for different ideas. I tell the women, I said, don't tell the men, but I listen to you guys for ideas. I said, I don't ask the men for anything. All they want to know is where the heck the beer is and then go home. So I get a lot of ideas from Sarah. So it's pretty neat. But so you guys are going to be at what is it, 6 days or after Boston? When is it again? Everybody knows.
It's 6 days after
You're going
Boston.
to
We'll
be
be
at a
in Big
race
Sur.
together.
Yeah.
April
Hmm.
24th.
What's that?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Big Sur on the you
Okay.
do it's called the Boston to Big Sur Challenge, and you do Boston on the East Coast, and then you go over to the West Coast and you do Big Sur. It's a wonderful event. And I see Mr. Rupert just said you should consider the JFK 50 miler, which is my area. I I don't know if I'm a one and done 50 miler or not. although although my next goal is 100K for my 55th birthday, which will be next year. Next year I'll be doing my 100K.
Whoa. Well, at least you're honest about your age because Sarah has been telling me every year she's still 39. No, that's well, I always tell Sarah
Uh,
she doesn't look her age. None of you. I'm gonna make some points. No, the both of you don't look your age, so
oh,
that's
thanks.
good. You got to
That's safe
run
to
with
say.
that.
Well, it's because of
So
running.
anyway,
I mean, it's totally because of running. I
now
look a
now
lot
I got a
younger than
question.
before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get all? I saw one. Matter of fact, she ran a marathon. Lipstick on, makeup, and I'm like, how do you? I mean, I guess that's important. Do you wear all this lipstick and makeup? And one said it's for the photos, that kind of thing.
It's for
So
the
I didn't
finish
know that.
line.
So
It's for the finish line photos.
finish
But
line.
I always wear makeup anyway, so I just it's just me. I
My
love the red
friend
lipstick.
my friend did her first Ironman, full Ironman this past fall, and her signature is bright pink lipstick.
Yeah.
And there are pictures of her in transition, brushing her hair, putting on her lipstick before she set out on the run. And she said, even if it costs me a few seconds in transition, I'm going to have my lipstick on and my hair combed
Oh
for
boy.
the finish line.
Now
And
that's something I don't do is I
she
put it on
did.
before the race, and if it's on at the end, great. If it's not, it's not.
Yeah, she took time to reapply. But she looked beautiful for her race photos.
Yes.
Well, I was introduced. I never knew this habit on a run break race. I'm going down to check on people, and when we started in spring, it was like 39 degrees in Florida.
Mhm.
Around 11 o'clock, it gets hotter. All of a sudden, I'm seeing all these clothes on the side of the
Yes.
trail. I mean, sweatshirts and sweatpants. And I said to the one volunteer, I said, I didn't know we were having a naked 5K here. How do they? And she explained to me that when they get hot, they wear these sweatshirts and stuff, and they
Mhm.
pull them off and throw them on the side. I had all these clothes to send to the Goodwill. That wasn't the
Yes.
first time I ever saw that.
Yes.
Throwaway
Yes.
clothes. Yep. Or
Yep.
you can sometimes wear a trash bag. My personal preference is a trash bag before races. I
Mhm.
ran rock and roll in Nashville the entire race in a trash bag because it was cold and rainy,
Sure.
and you just cut out your head and you're good to go.
But what's really nice is like Chicago does,
Donations.
they donate it. Yeah, they do. You go buy a sweatshirt at Goodwill, wear it for the beginning of the race, and then throw it off, and it'll go to good use to somebody else.
Yes.
So
Well, at the one, it was cold one time, and I saw these two young ladies. I don't know if you ever seen the outfits that the women pole bowlers wear. Little tank, tops and whatever it is. And I'm looking at her. I'm saying, "You go, girl." I said, "It's 40 degrees out here. You look like you go swimming." So I had a jacket on. It was really cold, but they took off in a two-piece outfit. So I guess they were okay. I guess they get really hot towards the 18 miles or whatever.
Get hot. Yep. Get hot quickly.
you do. You got to dress for what you think is 20 degrees warmer. So did I say that right? Or 20 degrees cooler, right? So if it's 40 out, you got to think about it as 60. So dress for 60. If it's 30 out, think for 50. I don't like running in the heat at all. I'm a cold weather runner through and through.
How about you, Sarah? You've been to some? Well, wait a minute. The Best Damn Race. That wasn't very hot down there last week, right?
That was quite cold. And I'm doing Glacier National Park this summer in Montana, and that one's supposed to be very cold. I did Zion a few years back, and that was very cold at the start. With BDR Safety Harbor, we had a very strong wind on the race, and I had done a 15K the week before, and I think the wind chills were in the 15s. And for Florida, that's a lot.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
we're used to heat. So we trade in a lot of heat and humidity here. And that helps with any kind of elevation changes on races. But cold is nice.
Well,
Cold is very nice.
don't tell my wife you're going out to Montana because we've been out there. She wants to go back there in the summertime. So if you're flying, we'll carry your bags for you for the air trip because it's beautiful out there. So this is.
Are you there, Craig? You're frozen.
It freezes up.
Yeah, I want to put in a good plug for one of my favorite race series. Speaking of cold at the beginning, I have run a bunch of these races. They're called Revel races, REVEL, Revel races, and that was my very first BQ. Was at Mount Charleston. They put in their swag bag, throwaway gloves, a nice little beanie, a mylar blanket, so that when you're at the top of the mountain, then you can just stay nice and warm, and then just again, throw them off as you're getting down the mountain, because down at the bottom of Mount Charleston is Las Vegas, and it's about a 30-degree difference, you know. So, but yeah, all of the Revel races, they usually start way, way up, and it is cold, and they put all those wonderful goodies in your goodie bag.
That's great.
Mhm.
Well, I'm going to say, Sarah and Debbie, you two guys have a lot in common. It sounds like you're going to cross paths with your races and everything. I'm glad you got to know each other. And
Yeah.
I will expect some kind of ensemble, you know, the flute or piano playing, you know,
Yes.
any, anything like that. We can put it on Spotify since Neil Young has taken his stuff off of Spotify. But you know, that's a long story. But this has been great. I'm I know school. Oh, no, you're at home. You're at school now, Debbie. So I'm not gonna go a lot longer. So I'm gonna sign off here. But this has been great. You guys were great, and I'm gonna send this to different people and repurpose it. The last one we did, Sarah, I think we had over 1,000 people that watched it.
Wonderful.
Good.
4 o'clock
great.
is not. Yeah, because I said to all the groups I'm on, whether they like it or not, I just click click. As long as this finger's working, I can just click click and send it to all of them. So um, we can build it up and everything. But this was great. I'm gonna end this, and we will and hopefully we'll get on next week and see what we can talk about. But really good. I was really excited. I'm out here freezing my butt kiss off because Lakes to two, but it's not
Warm.
bad. All right,
Thanks for having
we'll
me on.
see you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you
Okay,
too.
you're
Yes,
welcome.
sir.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.